Welcome to Cocos 2D Tutorials, brought to you by Bob Hewland. For more information, go to bobhewland.com/cocos2d. In this tutorial, called Robin Hood, we are going to learn what a HUD is and how to create one. The word HUD stands for Head-Up Display and comes from the aircraft industry. When you are flying over a city as a pilot, your view might look like this. But when you have a head-up display, your view might look like this. You still see the city, but you also see the information that you need in order to fly the plane. How are HUDs used in games? A HUD in a game is typically a semi-transparent layer that displays information such as number of lives left, the picked items, the score, etc. Let's go to Xcode and create a HUD. We are inside Xcode. Let's look at our starting point. In our resources, we have two sounds, coin.mp3 and wall.mp3. We also have one image called gold.png. We have two layers, Hello World layer and HUD layer. Hello World layer has a blue background and two menu items. The first has the text Pick up a coin and has a selector called Pick, which just logs the word pick. And the other menu item has the text Bump into wall and has a selector called Wall, which just logs the word wall. Let's build and run. You see the blue background and the two items. Click on the first item, Pick. Click on the second item, Wall. Stop. The HUD layer we have not done anything with yet. It's just a standard layer with a yellow background and the transparency is 50%. Let's look at our task. It is to make a HUD that keeps track of the score. And our plan is to use two layers in the same scene. Let's go to AppDelegate, to the method application did finish launching. We see that we are sending the class message scene to the Hello World layer. This method returns a scene that the director uses to run the scene. So let's look at this scene method in the Hello World layer. You see here that it is a class method. First, we create a node, call it scene, then another node, call it layer, then we add the layer node to the scene node, and then we return the scene. What we want to do here is to add another layer to the scene. And to do that, we can just copy these two lines and paste it, and change Hello World layer to HUD layer, also here, and then change layer to another layer, and also here. So we are creating a new node called another layer and adding it to our scene. So we have now two layers added to the scene. We want to be able to send messages from Hello World layer to the HUD layer. In order to do that, we need to have a pointer from this layer to this layer. Let's declare one in the interface. First, we have to import HUDlayer.h. Then we write HUD layer, call it something like HUD. Let's add it as a property. Non-atomic, retain, HUD layer, HUD. Let's go to the implementation and synthesize HUD. So, in order to make our HUD pointer point to the HUD layer, we write layer.hud equals another layer. Now we have our pointer and we can send messages to the HUD layer. Observe that we have added the HUD layer to the scene, so we don't need to have any other scene method in the HUD layer. Let's go to the HUD layer interface and delete the scene declaration, and also to implementation, and delete it here also. We have added two layers to our scene, so they should both be visible now. Let's build and run. And as you can see, the background is grayish. And that's the color you get when you put a semi-transparent yellow color on top of a blue color. But we do not want to cover the whole screen with our HUD layer. We want it just up on the top. So let's go to HUD layer. In the init method, and paste some code. We are setting the position to 0-280 and the width to 480 and the height to 40. Let's build and run. And there is our HUD. We now want to introduce a score here. If you pick up a coin, score increases. If you bump into a wall, the score decreases. Stop. In the HUD layers init method, paste some code. We are introducing a score label with the initial text 0. We are setting its position by setting the anchor point to 0, 0.5. We are fixing its left edge, and we are adding it as a child to the layer. We also need to declare the label as an instance variable. Go to Interface, CC label TTF star score label. We also need an integer to keep track of our score, int score. Let's build and run. And there we have the value 0. Maybe we should put some text here, score or something. Let's go back and do that. Paste some code. We are making a new label here and adding it to our HUD. Build and run. And there we have it. Now we are ready to change the score value. Go back and let's write a method. Paste some code. And the method is called addToScore. And it accepts an integer number as a parameter. We take that number and add it to the score. And then we update our score label using the setString method. Let's add this method as a declaration into interface file. Paste it here. Let's go to Hello World layer and change the pick method. HUD, addToScore, and the value is 1. Let's also do it for the wall method, but now -1. Let's run it. As we click on the Pick up a coin, the score is increasing. And as we click on the Bump into wall, the score is decreasing. Stop and go back. We are in principle done with our tutorial. But in order to make it a little more fun, let's add some sounds. In the Hello World Layers interface file, import simpleaudioengine.h, and in the implementation init method, let's preload some sounds. Simple Audio Engine, Shared Engine, preload effect, coin.mp3. Copy this, paste, and change this to wall. Paste also in the pick method, and change preload to play. And also in the wall method, play, wall.mp3. Let's test. And as you can see, it works. Now the HUD layer is powerful as the Hello World layer, and you can do much fun here. Let's go back to the HUD layer and do one more thing. In the Add to Score method, paste the following code. As you see, the sprite called Gold is added when the score reaches 5 points. Of course, you would do it much more elaborate in the real game. This is just for test purposes. Let's run. And as you can see, it works. Thank you for watching.